Good morning, all students. Now we meet again in online learning SMPK Penabu. I hope all of us still in a good condition. After at the previous meeting, we learned about elements. Today, we will learn about compound. Standard competence 3.3 Explain concept mixture and pure substance, physical and chemical properties, physical and chemical changes in our daily life. Before we talk about compound, we must understand about atom and molecule. Firstly, we will talk about atom. Now, let's see the figure of an element. As we know that element is composed by similar atoms, that the blue ball depicted an atom. From this understanding, so John Dalton proposed that atom is the smallest part of matter. And we know too that the atom of one element is different from another element. We can see the difference is shown by the figure below. As we can see that atom of oxygen is different with atom hydrogen, different with atom carbon, different with atom nitrogen, different with atom chloride, different with atom fluoride. The difference of size show that the bigger size has the biggest mass and the smaller size has the smallest mass. After we have understand about atom, now we will learn about molecule. What is a molecule? Molecule is composed by two or more atoms that its constituent atoms are chemically bonded together. Molecule can be divided into two groups. The first group we call as element molecule. Element molecule is a molecule that composed by similar atoms through chemical bonding. Now, let's see the example from the figure below. The example of element molecule are hydrogen molecule. Hydrogen molecule composed by two atoms hydrogen. Oxygen molecules composed by two atoms oxygen. Chlorine molecules composed by two atoms chlorine. Ozone molecules composed by three atoms oxygen. Sulfur molecules composed by 8 atoms sulfur. Helium molecules is composed by 1 atom helium. This happens because of the stability of atom. The second group we call as compound molecule. Compound molecule is a molecule that composed by two or more atoms from different elements through chemical bonding or chemical reaction. Now, from the figure, we see that the example of compound molecule, there is water, carbon dioxide, ammonia, and methane. And from the figure, we see a stick between atoms. The stick represented bonding. In water, one atom O bond with two atoms hydrogen. In ammonia, one atom N bonded with three atoms hydrogen. In methane, one atom C bonded with four atoms hydrogen. And in carbon dioxide, one atom C make a double bonded with two atoms oxygen. Compound. Compound is substance that composed by two or more elements through chemical reaction with constant ratio. Properties of elements that compose the compound is different with the properties of compound. water is the example of compound. Water always composed by one atom oxygen O and two atoms hydrogen H. Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide always composed by one atom C, carbon, and two atoms oxygen, O. Ammonia. Ammonia always composed by one atom nitrogen N and three atoms hydrogen H. Methane. Methane always composed by one atom carbon C and four atoms hydrogen H. After we have learned about the understanding of compound, now we will learn about the name of compound with its composition and its chemical formula. Name of compound: water. Composition: two atoms H and one atom O. Chemical formula: H2O. Name of compound: ammonia. Composition: one atom N and three atoms H. Chemical formula: NH3. Name of compound: ammonium hydroxide. Composition: one atom N, five atom H and one atom O. Chemical formula: NH4OH. Name of compound: chloric acid or chloride acid. Composition: one atom H and one atom Cl. Chemical formula: HCl. Name of compound: acetic acid or vinegar. Composition: two atoms C, four atoms H and two atoms O. Chemical formula: CH3COOH. Name of compound: sulfuric acid. Composition: two atoms H, one atom S and four atoms O. Chemical formula: H2SO4. Name of compound: table salt. Composition: one atom Na and one atom Cl. Chemical formula: NaCl. Name of compound: sucrose or sugar. Composition: 12 atoms C, 22 atoms H and 11 atoms O. Chemical formula: C12H22O11. Name of compound: glucose. Composition: 6 atoms C, 12 atoms H and 6 atoms O. Chemical formula: C6H12O6. Name of compound: carbon dioxide. Composition: 1 atom C and 2 atoms O. Chemical formula: CO2. Name of compound: carbon monoxide. Composition: 1 atom C and 1 atom O. Chemical formula: CO. Name of compound: carbon tetrachloride. Composition: 1 atom C and 4 atoms Cl. Chemical formula: CCl4. Name of compound: S-soda. Composition: 2 atoms Na, 1 atom C and 3 atoms O. Chemical formula: Na2CO3. Name of compound: caustic soda. Composition: 1 atom Na, 1 atom H and 1 atom O. Chemical formula: NaOH. Name of compound: baking soda. Composition: 1 atom Na, 1 atom H, 1 atom C and 3 atoms O. Chemical formula: NaHCO3. Name of compound: urea. Composition: 1 atom C, 1 atom O, 2 atoms N and 4 atoms H. Chemical formula: CO in bracket NH2 2. Name of compound: alcohol or ethanol. Composition: 2 atoms C, 6 atoms H and 1 atom O. Chemical formula: C2H5OH. After we have learned about compound, Now we will see the difference characteristic between element and compound. First, element is made up of similar atoms, but compound is made up of similar molecules. The second, element can be broken down into simpler substances through chemical reaction, but compound can be broken down into elements that compose the compound through chemical reaction. Third, while elements react chemically with another element will produce compound. And while compound react with other compound, it will produce another compound. Fourth, properties of element is the same with the properties of atoms that compose the element, while properties of compound is different with the elements that compose the compound. Fifth, element denoted by element symbol, but compound is denoted by chemical formula. Characteristic of compound. The first characteristic, compound is made up by similar molecules. To understand this, let's see the figure below. Water in microscopic scale. Water is a compound made up only just by water molecules. And on the right figure, ammonia in the microscopic scale. Ammonia is a compound made up only just by ammonia molecules. The second characteristic, compound react with other compound, produce another compound. The example we can see from the figure below that hydrochloric acid is one type of acid, react with sodium hydroxide is one type of base, will produce sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is a salt plus water, or in chemical formula can be written HCl plus NaOH produce NaCl plus H2O. The third characteristic, compound can be broken down into elements that compose the compound through chemical reaction. This can be seen in process of hydrolysis of water to produce hydrogen and oxygen. This is the reaction in hydrolysis process. Water become hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. In hydrolysis, using electric current, water can be changed, become hydrogen gas in cathode, and in anode, water can be changed into oxygen. The fourth characteristic, properties of the compound is different with the properties of the elements that compose the compound. Now, let's see the reaction. Hydrogen gas react with oxygen gas through chemical reaction produce water molecules. And at the right figure, we can see that oxygen is needed in combustion, but the hydrogen is easy to burn. And we know also that water is used to extinguish the fire. So we can see that hydrogen, oxygen and water has different properties. So as the fourth characteristic said that properties of the compound is different with the properties of the elements that compose the compound is true. After we learn about the characteristic of compound, now we will learn about the classification of compound. Based on the elements which form the compound, compound can be divided into two groups. The first group we call as organic compound. The main constituents of organic compound are non-metal elements like carbon C, hydrogen H, but it can contain another element like oxygen O, sulfur S, and nitrogen N. While organic compound is burned, it will produce carbon dioxide. The example of organic compound are methane, ethanol, and methanol. As we can see that ethanol is usually used to make a liquor, and methanol is usually used to clean the wound. Besides that, around us we can find organic compounds such as crude oil, contain elements C and H, urea, contain elements C, H, N, and O, fat, contain elements C, H, and O, protein, contain elements C, H, N, O, and also contain S, and plastic generally contain elements C and H. The second group is inorganic compound. Inorganic compound can be made up in two ways. The first way is made up between metal element and non-metal element. Example is group of salt such as sodium chloride and sodium carbonate. The second example is group of base such as sodium hydroxide and calcium hydroxide. The second way, made up between hydrogen and non-metal element or halogen element. The example, group of acids such as sulfuric acid, fluoric acid, and hydrochloric acid. After we have learned about element and compound, now we will learn about microscopic description of element and compound. Let's see the figure below. From the figure, we see that elements can be drawn in two ways. First, as atoms of elements, represented by the red balls, and second, as molecules of element, represented by two blue balls or two similar atoms that bond through chemical reaction. And compounds can be drawn if two or more different atoms. From the figure we can see that blue and red is two different atoms that bond through chemical reaction. I think that's all our learning today. I hope with this video all of you can have more understanding about compound. God bless you.